Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man. And today we're going to be talking about Black Superman. So news has come out. I'm going to go straight to the article and read out what it has to say, and then I'll give my commentary on it. But news has come out that J.J. Abrams is producing the feature, which according to sources is going to be set up as a Black Superman story. Okay, so acclaimed essayist and novelist Ta-Nehisi has been hired to pen the script for a feature reboot of Superman that will be produced by J.J. Abrams. To be invited, and I want to say first off the bat, I am disappointed in this news. I'm going to explain why. It's not simply because they're doing a Black Superman. That's not it. But that's a big part of it. But it's not just it. Recently I threw support behind behind Warner Brothers when they were making a big deal of having a Latina or Latinx or whatever Supergirl, and I explained why I don't think Supergirl necessarily, nothing changes about her story if you change her race. That isn't the same for Superman, and that I'll go into and explore a little further later on. But the point of this is that one thing I can say I'm welcome of is that I know this is going to be better than Man of Steel, whatever it is, whatever trash it's going to be better than Man of Steel, and it's better than Zack Snyder being behind it. Hopefully this Black writer, because I have nothing against a Black writer and a Black team being behind Superman, because I think in a way they could do a really good job if they got this notion out of their heads that that Superman has to be Black. If they can get past that and actually just try and tell a good Superman story that explores what he means to everyone, to different ethnicities, to different kinds of peoples, I think a Black team behind that kind of vision of Superman would be fantastic. But the idea that they are going to go in and change the race, that's where I have to, this makes me feel I'm not quite there yet, but if they do this, really, I'm just going to be against waste spending. Because before, I'll just say, make new Black characters, because you obviously can't be trusted with these toys, right? You cannot be trusted. I thought you were sensible enough as I'm Black, I know you're Black, we talk. I thought you were smart enough to understand, the basics. If you're a comic book nerd, a true comic book nerd, and understand these characters, you would understand the basics of characters you can race bend, legitimately race bend, and characters that you really ought to not. And Superman is one of those. It does not make a lick of sense. Maybe they're going with the new version of and I know I was supposed to read this article first, but it's baffling to me. My head is exploding right now. I'm just like, God damn, WB. I was just defending your ass about race bending, and then you go this far. It's too much. They would never do this. They would never fuck with Batman like this. They would never take that chance of fucking with Batman. Why are you fucking with Superman? He's one of the franchise players. Get him right, first of all. Get one that is right before. If you're trying to bring in Calvin Harris, the Black Superman, and dude, this is the worst thing about this, because it's so fucking stupid. And I'm going to go into this more later, right? If this motherfucker would just do a great Superman movie and race bend here and there, maybe race bend Lex Luthor or something cool like that, right? but do a proper Superman movie where you have a couple of side characters that are representative of Asian, Latino. You can change up a little bit. Maybe have a Latino Lois Lane for once, or an Asian Lois Lane, and then some other characters. As I said, make Lex Luthor a black character. That would be interesting. And then make a really, really fucking good one. Then you can go to Warner Brothers and say, you know what I want for making this billion-dollar Superman movie, this $800-900 million, for saving the Superman franchise. I want to look through your library of black characters, and whichever black character I choose, I want to make that. So if I see Vixen, I want to make that Vixen movie. You've got to give me 150 million for saving the Superman franchise, to make one of the original black characters, and do a proper, black superhero, DC's version of Black Panther. That's what you could do. But instead, what you're going to do is you're going to make a black Superman movie, which may well be good. And I definitely think it's going to be better than Man of Steel, because nothing can be worse than Man of Steel as a Superman movie. So even if it's a black superhero, whatever, it's still going to be better than Man of Steel. Or a black Superman, it's still going to be better than Man of Steel. But the thing is, no matter how good it is, there's going to be a contingency of people, of motherfuckers who just ain't going to go. Straight up. They're just not going to go. They're going to be like, oh, no, this is a joke. Black Superman doesn't make sense to me. It's not like other characters. You're fucking with a heavyweight. You're fucking with a legend now. You can't do that with certain characters. All right, so let me read this motherfucking thing, because I had to get all of that off my fucking spirit and soul. It just doesn't make sense, even from your point of view. You're so eager and impatient to get these black representation that you don't even use sense. Use fucking human sense. You could go out there, give a fucking sick Superman movie, and they will write you a blank check for saving Superman to do any fucking DC character you want. You could do Vixen. You could do like somebody fucking cool. All right. So, to be invited into the DC... Okay, so acclaimed essayist and novelist, we're going to talk about this guy, Ta-Nehisi Coates, because I was actually very excited, because I was like, oh, fuck, they're doing a black Superman. Then I saw this name, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I got really excited. I was like, all right, if they're going to do a black Superman, at least let it be this guy. But I confused who it was, because I thought it was the guy who did 12 Years a Slave, right? I actually did. I saw a guy, and I thought it would be the guy who did 12 Years a Slave. So his name is John Ridley. And dude, if they rethink this and maybe get John Ridley and this Takeshi Heats together, because I'll show you Takeshi's IMD in a little bit, and it's not very, it's not very encouraging. It's not very encouraging at all. So let's look at this. Fuck. So produced by J.J. Abrams, right? So Coates has been hired to pen a script for the future reboot of Superman that will be produced by J.J. Abrams, to be invited into the DC extended Warner Brothers. DC Films and Bad Robot is an honor, said Coates in a statement to Shadow and Cap, a website dedicated to the African diaspora in the arts. I look forward to meaningfully adding to the legacy of America's most iconic mythic hero. There is a new, powerful, and moving Superman story yet to be told. We couldn't be more thrilled to be... You better be reading the fucking Superman comics, because if you start reading the Superman comics, maybe you'll get it out of your thick head and cast Michael B. Jordan as fucking Lex Luthor, which would be so much better than casting him as Superman. Michael B. Jordan as Lex Luthor, that I can fuck with. Or or Michael B. Jordan as like the parasite, the villain, or whatever. That I can fuck with. Michael B. Jordan as Superman, nah, bruh. There is a new, powerful, and moving Superman story yet to be told. We couldn't be more thrilled to be working with the brilliant Mr. Coates to help bring the story to the big screen, and we're beyond thankful to the team at Warner Brothers and Michael B. Jordan. Please, for God's sake, I know he's never going to listen to this anyway, but for God's sake, man, I know you've got sense. I've seen you. You're such a fucking smart guy. Do not let them give you this fucking role. Do not let them give you this role. Tell them, do the right thing. We're beyond thankful to team Warner Brothers for the opportunity, said J.J. Abrams at the statement to SNA. According to sources, the project being set up as a Black Superman story. This is something that the studio has been trying to wrap its head around for months. Why? If not years or two. Michael B. Jordan tried to develop a Black Superman project when he first arrived at the studio with his deal in 2019. But that did not go very far at the time, according to sources, because they didn't have a script. Is it possible that the studio could return to him to star down the line? Coates is a superstar author whose books include We Were the Eight, Power and Tragedy, The Beautiful Struggle, The Water Dancer, and Between the World and Me, the latter of which was adapted by HBO in the comic book space. He has worked on Captain America and Black Panther. I have not heard good things about his runs on Captain America or Black Panther. Just saying. I was happy when they said he'd written Captain America, because I was like, oh shit, maybe that will translate well to Superman. But apparently they weren't that impressive, with Disney's Bob Iger crediting his influential run on the latter in the decision to greenlight the groundbreaking film starring Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I'm really sure CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, really read his run of Black Panther. Right. Superman's first flew onto the big screen with filmmakers Richard Donner, film Superman, blah blah blah. Henry Cavill is stepping into the role. Etc. This is DC's feature. This is the first DC feature known to be in development under Abrams. Anyway, look, dude, I don't know who they're doing this for. I don't know what market they're doing this for. I don't know, like, only Black people in Hollywood, I guess, and mostly white people in Hollywood want this to happen. This is not something that's coming from any Black person in the streets asking, oh, you know what I always wanted to see? I wanted to always see a big screen version of a Black Clark Kent Superman. You know, there's other versions of Superman that are Black in the multiverse. And I know that's what they're using. They're using this concept of the multiverse now to be able to do anything they want, right? They can just make these films without them having any coherent plan or sense of direction as to where they want to go. So anyway, I wanted to just read out some of these comments I have. Hi, by the way, for those viewing and just tuning in. So Carmen Bates says, I agreed on that. Any film will be better than The Man of Steel. Yeah, I do think so. I'm sorry, like Man of Steel is so un-Superman. It's not like there's elements to it that really raise it above the terrible script at the center of it. So the music, the action, the score, the visuals really elevate it above. But the problem is the script is absolutely atrocious, and the main character of Superman, Clark Kent, doesn't have a character, a personality, and more importantly, doesn't have any fucking motivation. So no matter what happens, unless this, this new Superman is a complete plank of wood, it's going to be better than Man of Steel in terms of the depiction of Superman. So that's one, as a Superman fan, I guess That's something that can be taken from this. But all in all, this is just fucking bullshit. So look, I've explained on many occasions why I don't think Superman can be black. Now, I want to take you to the population of Kansas, right? So the population of Kansas, as of recent, is that 5.6%, according to the most recent American Community Survey, the black population in Kansas is 163,713 of a 5.6% total population of Kansas. Now, my rule, so this is Super Zero, by the way. I didn't know if you had seen this account. Yeah, I know, man. I know. Thanks for tuning in, man. So yeah, like what I was saying is the population of fucking Kansas is 5.6%. Now, my rule in terms of race bending and why I was fine with them race bending Supergirl, why I'm fine with them race bending somebody like Constantine, characters like that, characters where there are characters even where it actually makes more sense for them to be a different race, like Hawkman. It's like he should have been Egyptian in the first fucking place. Right, he should have been like Middle Eastern or black or something like that from the jump. Right, so given his mythology, actually makes sense. Or someone like Magneto, where you're like, okay, you can tell a similar story, but from a different angle with Magneto. Because for me, Magneto, the only race he can't be is white. He can be Jewish, he can be black, he can be Indian. He can be the only race that Magneto can't be as a character is white, because he has to come from a situation where, his people are being killed or wiped out or whatever. And if you want to continuously go back to World War II, yet do X-Men movies in the modern world, you're going to find that, well, World War, like the 1944 is nearly 100 years ago now. How old is our Magneto going to be? So you have to kind of keep on updating in movies, I think, which conflict created Magneto. So it makes sense there. Yeah, you can race bend Magneto, or something like that. But with Superman or with certain characters, as I said, the basic rule, the basic fundamental rule, I think everyone should look at when deciding, because a lot of people are just like, we should never race bend anyone. It's like, it's just, they were that way, since the 40s and 60s, so never race bend them. And I just think basically what you're telling ethnic minorities by saying that is you're not welcome in the biggest tentpole movies being made today. Because if you look at virtually every major big name comic character who was developed in the 40s and 50s and 60s, all of the superheroes, all of their supporting cast, all of their villains were white. So if we were to say we're going to keep all of them the same race, then you are saying ethnic minorities, you are not welcome in in this biggest tentpole IP movies, where you have the biggest platform to showcase your talent. You're not welcome in there. It's all white all the time. And furthermore, these are ethnic minorities who supported the comic book industry, who were unseen heroes or unsung heroes behind some of the great TV shows and animated shows like Justice League, who were consumers of these comic book characters as well, who helped it, this reach this $1 million or $1 billion become this $1 billion industry. So you have people like everyone talks about Paul Dini and what's the other guy? The two guys who came. There was three guys who actually did the DCAU, the DC animated universe, and they always talk about the two white guys, and they never talk about the actual black guy who was very, very much fundamental in creating the Justice League animated series. Right. So again, there are unsung heroes of of black creators behind these comic book properties as well. So in that sense, absolutely, not only do we deserve to be to get something back for how much we've put into the comic book industry, but also, so like, you can't say, oh, just use the black characters, because there wasn't that many black characters in the major IPs. Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Castley, you want to join? Okay. All right. I'm gonna send you a link. I think that should do it. Tell me if that works. Yeah, but this is the point I was trying to make earlier, but is that
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing? How you doing, Andrew?
Not much.
Good. So let me ask you, what's your opinion here on this?
To be honest, it feels kind of suspicious. Weird timing. This Superman.
How do you mean?
Because we're only just days away from the Snyder Cut. They decide now to release this. I'm starting to think like.
I see.
I mean,
okay. Cool.
I hope this doesn't mean Cavill's gone, because I like this Superman.
Oh, you liked his Superman? Okay.
Yeah,
we have a little bit of a difference of opinion there. I don't know if you've watched my channel much, but I didn't particularly like Cavill's Superman a lot. Well, but I would be willing to give him another chance.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as it's in different kind of circumstances. I don't want a more traditional Superman. I don't want a Christopher Reeves type Superman.
That's what I tell everyone. That's because Snyder was trying to have his Superman to get to that, but we were like, no, blah 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 blah. He's trash and all that stuff. I try to tell him that this is not your Superman. This is a journey and an arc, but they don't believe me.
See, okay, all right, because I don't want to. I like to be nice and hear my guests out, but I have to say, I kind of, like, in terms of Snyder's vision of Superman, I very much think that. Let me put it this way, like, you're talking about this arc for Superman that he was supposed to go on, right? Now, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
Do you think? Because I don't want to be argumentative with you. It's your opinion.
No. I'm always here to have that civil conversation.
Yeah. Good. Me too. Say, for instance, in Man of Steel, if Pa Kent had have said, instead of maybe you should let children die, he had have said something else like, no, of course not. But, you still have to be careful. Will that have substantially changed the movie for you? So much so that you wouldn't have liked Man of Steel?
Well, to be honest, I never really had a problem with that line, because
you didn't have a problem with it, but I'm asking you, if they had have changed that line to something else, where it's the same movie, right? Exactly the same movie, but Pa Kent had have said something else, like, of course not. Of course, it was great what you did, but you've got to be careful, son. Would that have substantially changed the movie for you, that you wouldn't have liked it?
To be honest, that it wouldn't have changed it, but it would have made the people who hated Zack Superman happy, because they will, because people are like he shouldn't say he should let the kids die. It would make people who hate that line happy.
Right. Okay. So for you, right, and I suspect for people who are like yourself, who like Man of Steel, if they had have changed that line, it wouldn't have bothered you. But
No,
for people who don't like Man of Steel, who actually, like Pa Kent to be somebody who makes Superman a moral character or whatever, that one thing, for instance, would have made them enjoy the movie slightly more. Is that fair to say?
yeah, I guess.
Right. So this is my point about Zack Snyder. That movie and everything that people love about that movie doesn't have to change, right? So you like the score. I bet you like the score. You like the action. You like the visuals. You like the fact that Superman's a little bit more complicated and layered, right?
Yeah, because
These are the things you like about it.
Yeah, because he can't be like bright and cheery, saving cats from trees in every version.
Right. Okay. So we're agreed on that. Okay. So let's say we agree. Like a modern version, me personally,
Right.
the way I would do it is like maybe I would have done the whole film, and maybe at the end scene or something, he does something stupid like save a cat from a tree, but like really like a post-credit scene or something where it's like a little wink. But like the whole film would have been the same, but like just something happens where he just happens to hear this thing and does save a cat from a tree or something stupid like that. Or I wouldn't have put that in. But my point is, let me go back to my point, that basically everything you love about Man of Steel could actually stay the same, and you could still have people who like the traditional Superman love the movie as well. And
Right.
all you'd have to do, or all Zack Snyder would have had to do, was change a few things. If he had changed just a few of the story beats, he would have had all the guys like you who like it, who like the big bombastic action, who like the more deep, soulful, meditative stuff, like where he's a kid and he's flipping out over his powers or whatever, right? I bet you that you like that scene, right? When he's a kid and he first realizes his X-ray vision, and his mother comes to him and
in fact,
says,
let me hold on. I should find a better stuff.
What's happening?
I was showing a picture.
Oh, okay. Look, cool.
I mean, look at this. There are so many versions.
Right, I understand there's so many versions, but I think that the point I'm trying to make is, look, you can have the exact same film. Superman doesn't snap Zod's neck, right?
Oh, well, okay.
Superman doesn't snap Zod's neck. Superman tries to save Pa Kent. Superman tries to save Pa Kent. Pa Kent doesn't tell Superman that maybe he should let kids die. Take those three things out of the movie, right?
Right.
And give Superman one or two bits of dialogue that explains his motivation for why he's saving people, right? Exact same movie. It's just that one, Superman tries to save Pa Kent. Pa Kent still dies in the tornado, right? Superman doesn't do it quick enough, right? But he tries to save him. He thinks about it for a second and he tries to save him, right?
Yeah, because I know people are used to the dying of a heart attack thing, but this is different.
Okay, no, but I'm giving you that. I'm saying, but Superman, right at the end, just before he hesitates, but then he goes and tries to save him, but he's too late. Yeah.
Well, I remember a video talking about like why he uses.
Let me finish the question. So that we understand, and then you can tell me what I've said, right? And then so we're both on the same page. So the exact same movie, Superman doesn't snap Zod's neck. Superman tries to save his father. His father doesn't tell him maybe he should let kids die. They change the dialogue there, right? And one more thing, they give Henry Cavill Superman 1 or 2 lines of dialogue where he explains what motivates him to save people, right? If you had the exact same story just with those 4 changes, do you think you would have not enjoyed the movie? I'm asking genuinely.
Yeah. And yeah, but to be honest, I could agree with some of that stuff. But I remember watching it. But I remember one video talking about about the whole saving his dad thing. But I remember that at that time of his life, he only gained the X-ray vision and the heat vision and the super hearing. He didn't gain super speed yet until we saw him do his first flight.
Sure. Okay. That's within the story, but the story isn't a documentary, right? The story is, it's something that's written as fiction. So if you're a writer, you can change that, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm asking, do you think that Man of Steel is so perfect that you couldn't imagine even a change in any of the story beats?
Man,
I'm being completely genuine. If that's the case, then that's fine. It's your opinion.
Dude, man, that's a hard thing for me to figure out because that's hard for me to figure out.
The reason I'm asking you this is because I think that Man of Steel could have made both people happy. People who wanted a new action-packed Superman who's punching, who's where there's Dragon Ball Z like fights, but also people who like certain things about Superman, certain traditional things in that have always been told about Superman, stuff like his morality, stuff like the dad, the Kent dad being a force for good in his life, right? I think you could have had that movie almost exactly beat for beat the same, and it would have made everyone happy, nearly everyone, because there's always going to be 10 to 15% of people who are going to hate things no matter what, right? How good it is. But I'll tell you this, the more I've watched Man of Steel, the more I realize I can absolutely see why people love the movie. I see it as clear as day why people love the movie. It makes so much sense to me. I see why people like Zack Snyder in general, and I'm a huge. Do you like Watchmen?
I actually never seen that film.
You've never seen Watchmen?
I've only seen scenes, dude. I've only seen scenes.
Dude, that's the good one. That's a really, really good one. Watchmen is like, if you like Man of Steel, watch Watchmen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So anyway,
let's go on. Tell me what you want to say before we move on.
So back to this whole news today, man.
Right, that's why
a lot of people are pissed about it, especially Jody's Corner.
Oh, is Jody's Corner pissed? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, in fact, I got the video right here. Let me just get that up.
No way. All right, go on. Do you want to react? Shall we react to it? Let's go for it. Let's react to it.
I mean, let's see how even though I know he hates.
Get to the best bit. Get to the best bit. So that let's
just start and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's just start and see how it goes. I got a screen share already.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
I apologize in advance for the audio. That will be fixed this weekend. But we have bigger problems to talk about. We're about to get a black Superman. We're about to get a black Superman written by a black man. You know, it's about to be real black up in this motherfucker. Yeah, it's official. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that, yes, we are going to be getting a black Superman. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you guys to understand, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for that real content. I'm probably going to say some things that you probably don't like or some things that you do like, but understand that I'm keeping it real always. That's how we do it. Ta-Nehisi Coates is the writer of Black Panther. That's what gave him notoriety, and that's why he got this deal here. That's why we got the 2018 Black Panther film. So here we are with the Hollywood Report. Let's get to it. Ta-Nehisi Coates will write the Superman movie, and it's going to be about a black Superman. J.J. Abrams is producing the feature. Sources is being set up as a black Superman story.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm here.
Andrew, can you stop it? I'm gonna watch that later. I'm going to watch that later, but I have to just react to this myself. So basically, do you want to? Yeah, okay, just to put the camera on. So basically, you know, my issue here is, you know, what do you think of race swapping in movies?
I think only if it like serves the story done right. Like they had done it a few times, but mostly not so much. But to do this to Superman, one of the greatest DC heroes of all time,
I don't see what it does. I really don't. The problem is, even if this is a good movie, even if it is good, I think maybe you can have the stunt thing in mind of like people are just going to want to see how bad it is. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of that might work for this movie, because it's a black Superman. People are going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to go and see it just to hate it," or something like that. But apart from that, the idea behind it, I think, is going to immediately lose some of the audience. So I think,
especially the love for people who wanted Cavill to continue as Superman.
You think the people who wanted to Cavill to, yeah, that's part of it, but I don't know that is. I think they could have rebooted. My idea always was do Cavill in doing Elseworld Superman movies like a Red Sun. Have you read Red Sun or no?
Oh yeah, I know what that is. That's basically Superman was adopted by the Russians.
Right. I wanted him to do that, and then I wanted them to reboot with a younger Superman, the Batman Patterson universe. That was what I thought they should do. So like a young Superman in the Patterson universe, and get Cavill to do like an Injustice or a you know, like a Snyder kind of Injustice or Red Sun kind of movie.
Yeah.
But you know, and I think that could work. But I thought you needed like a main continuity Superman who everyone was behind.
I felt like if this was kind of, I know they said that was, but I feel like this kind of was made good, because I feel like that if they had just let Zack finish his 5-movie arc, we wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I mean, I don't want to argue over the minutiae of this, because we could have another video, because of obviously
it's all right.
This video is about this. But like, I could have a whole debate with you on this 5-story arc and what that it doesn't. You can't expect people to wait 5 fucking movies before you show who Superman is. And to be honest, I don't believe Zack Snyder that was the case. I think Zack Snyder thought the guy who was in the end of Man of Steel and the guy who was in BVS was Superman. That he doesn't think that he came up with that afterwards. He came up with this idea of a 5-story arc after.
And the worst thing is people think Josh Whedon redeemed them in Justice League.
No, he didn't. It wasn't. He didn't redeem him at all. It was.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
It was a cartoon. If you want to watch a cartoon Superman, we can watch a cartoon Superman on you know, Cartoon Network. You know, when we want to see our characters in real life, we want to see some reality to them, right? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see Batman from the animated series. I want to see a take on Batman that's mature and interesting and layered. you know,
Well,
and
I can agree on that, but when you think about it, Ben Affleck does look like the animated series Batman.
yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not saying looks wise, but I'm saying in terms of you know, the dialogue, like the Justice League movie could have been a Saturday morning cartoon. Like you could take the script and everything and put that on a Saturday morning cartoon, and that would be a perfect episode of a Saturday morning cartoon, right? And what I'm
Right.
saying is, when you go to films, you expect a little bit. You want these characters to be taken from the pages of comics and from and from fucking cartoons, and come to life like as if they could exist in this real world. That's what I want to see. Like I dig what Batman Begins did. I dig what
Oh, I did like that movie.
Stuff like that. I think that is really good. But anyway, we're going off the point.
It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's all really interesting, the conversation. But what I was going to say is, because I've strayed so far off, I don't even know how to go back now. What I was going to say is that this kind of notion of a black Superman is problematic because, for me, Superman as a character is like, it's one of those characters that if you change his race, like, just think about it. You think about the story. If you change his race, you've immediately changed some aspect of the character. Like, you've changed the story, basically. Is this new Superman, is he still going to come from Kansas? Are the Kents going to raise him? Are the Kents going to be white and he's black? And what does that say? For me, if they're going to do a black Superman, I want black Ma and Pa Kent as well, because I'd want that if there's a truly virtuous Superman, that he's brought up by virtuous black parents then. And I'm just saying this because, for me, it changes so much of the story, right? Does this Clark Kent, does he face racism, right? Like, is he somebody who it changes his whole identity, is what I'm saying. Whereas if you did this with other characters like Constantine's fine, or like most characters, actually, it's not so many characters that are truly defined like this, because he comes from Kansas. There's something initially that you just think, if they don't address that he's black, then it's going to take you out of the movie. But if they do address that he's black because he's got white parents, and where did this black baby come from, and where, do you know what I mean? It complicates the whole story, where you're going to either have to explain it, which will take you out of the movie, or you're going to not explain it, which again will take you out of the movie. And this is the last thing. The best example I can give you of this is, like, Fantastic Four, the most recent one. Like, to be fair, everything in that movie took you out of the movie. But the fact that you had Michael B. Jordan and this girl as brother and sister, right? And one of them was black and the other one was white. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find that took you out of the movie at all? Did you want an explanation? Like, just, a brief aside, why is this sister white and this one black? Or did you just not, or was the movie so bad you didn't even think about it?
Well, I didn't really care.
All right, fair enough. I think about those things. That's the thing. I think about those things. When I watch these kind of movies, I do think about them. And it's not that I need a massive explanation, but I need an explanation. And I think there's a lot more to it. So do you think, what is your initial kind of, tell me your thoughts on, what is it about Superman that you think, do you think he can be any color, or do you think he?
Well, I don't think it's really like a big issue, but as long as like it still keeps like the core care. But I don't think you should like race bend like Clark Kent. I mean, hell, we're getting a Latina Supergirl in the Flash movie.
That's fine. I don't think Supergirl doesn't matter. If she was black, if she was white, if she was Asian, nothing changes about Supergirl's story because Supergirl comes to Earth basically a teenage girl, right? Clark Kent finds her or whatever, and then he's like, "Oh, you're my cousin," blah blah blah. They look and he looks after her. So there's nothing where she's found in Kansas by a local Kansas family, right? And then brought up, by them, where it's like, surely if Superman was black and it's already preposterous because Superman shouldn't be white. He's a fucking alien, first of all. So he's from an alien civilization, right? So the fact that he's a Caucasian man is so improbable anyway, right? It's just the stupidest thing. He should be green or whatever the alien race would have been. I'm sure there'd be something different about them, like the Vulcans. They'd have different ears or like something different to them from humans because they would have evolved in a different way. But forget about it. He's miraculously some white male, but he lands in Kansas, a place that is 94% white people. Right? Am I wrong about that? I don't know if you've ever, because I've never been to Kansas, but what I've looked up in terms of the demographics of Kansas, it's a big white population, right?
Yeah,
it is. Okay. So my point is, it seems very unlikely to me that this black child would have been shot from space and land in the farm with a black family. And since that's so improbable, it just means that it's probably just because that character genuinely makes more sense as a white person rather than trying to complicate the story anymore. Now, if you want to make Perry White black, if you want to make Lois Lane black, if you want to make any of the other characters, Lex Luthor, I think, fine. I know there'll be people who complain about that even, but
yeah, and I mean, like, I'm seeing like when it comes to this whole thing, people are saying this whole news is them copying what Disney's doing with their whole woke SJW agenda stuff.
Well, I don't know. It could work for them. It really could. And as I said, I'm it could work. I mean,
I hate this whole like black this, like that, SJW, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I'm not really somebody who I just like to look at each case by case. I don't say that I don't think race bending should be done at all. I look at it case by case. If it makes sense to the story, I'm fine with it. If it doesn't make sense to the story, then I've got a problem with it. And in this case, I really do think it doesn't make sense to the story. And there's a certain, I don't want to sound, because I think the argument usually is from the other side that Superman is an alien, so he can be anything, right? He can be any color or whatever because he's an alien. So there's nothing, but I don't buy that as an argument because of the Kansas thing. And then secondly, all right, that isn't that important. Sure, you can change the character black if the black actor is good enough. He can do the role and he can do it justice. And I genuinely believe that that's possible. But I don't see the point in this case. Right? I would much rather this guy do this, fair enough, have a black team working behind doing a great Superman movie. Do a classical Superman movie that is good. Bring Henry Cavill back, for instance, if you must.
Yeah, but that brings up a good point. I feel like this whole news is basically that Warner Bros. Basically just they just hate them. They just hate Snyder in the universe. They're trying to sabotage the Snyder Cut with this news.
You think so? I don't get. I don't understand why this would sabotage.
Why is like I said, isn't it suspicious that all this new stuff is coming out when we're getting almost closer to this movie coming out?
Well, it would be if it was done on the same day as the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, but
if it was announced like 2 days before the Snyder Cut, then I would say that that's suspicious. But we've still got what 28 days or what? When's it coming out? It's the 18th. Nearly
March 18th.
20 days. I don't see the, sorry, Carmen did, one of the people said it's definitely suspicious. And so are we actually getting an Icon film? I don't know. I don't know if we're getting an Icon film. Oh, he means because Icon is very, I don't know if you've heard of Icon, Andrew. He's a lot like Superman. He's like a black Superman, essentially.
Even with all this news today, even a friend of mine, Matt Jarbo, saying Warner Bros. Is literally doing everything it can to make me cancel HBO Max and walk away.
You've got to give me a really, explain to me what makes you think that the Snyder Cut is being impacted in any way by this news.
You know how when Zach left in 2017 because that was dark, they used that to advantage to reshoot the film, make it all kiddie and jokey with Joss Whedon because they wanted to get that Marvel MCU money.
Sure, but what's this announcement got to do with?
Because
with impacting the Snyder Cut, I think you're look. You might be being a bit paranoid about what their intentions are. I don't think they're smart enough to be trying to take down the Snyder Cut in this kind of manner. I think they'll be much more direct if they were, because they're stupid. Look at what they're doing to their universe. They have no idea what they're doing with their universe.
Yeah, because I feel like WB is a friggin' mess right now. They don't know. They can't get anything. Yeah, in fact, I even said it.
The fans are more divided than Warner Brothers is. The fans are way more divided than Warner Brothers actually is. It's not. I
feel like this is that it's a mess right now. They just can't get their stuff together.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think this is any like. If you told me when they brought out, I'm trying to think. There was something that they did, like when they brought out the King Kong versus what's it called? King Kong versus what?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla. There you go. When they brought out King Kong versus Godzilla, I thought that was something that definitely may have been aimed at, the Snyder Cut trailer, like to kind of compete with the Snyder Cut trailer. I think stuff like that, maybe you're right. This one, I really do think it's, unless you're saying because Cavill, it's kind of suggesting that Cavill is out as Superman. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but basically because people wanted this stuff to be come back, but one was like, no, we don't want this crappy DCU. We're gonna reboot the whole damn thing.
Right. So yeah, I guess if you're looking at it from the point of view of that now it means that Cavill isn't coming back as Superman,
which I hope is not true because
if they wanted to do that. If they wanted to get rid of Cavill and make it so that everybody who dislikes Cavill will rejoice, there's no way they would they would be announcing a black Superman. They'd announce some fan favorite, somebody that everybody's wanted to be Superman for ages. They'll pull a Michael Keaton style kind of, bring back Brandon Ruth or something stupid like that.
Ooh,
They're not.
I wouldn't be
They wouldn't
wrong with that.
exactly. So if they wanted to get to the Snyder Cut, right, that is the kind of casting they would choose. They wouldn't choose a black Superman. People are gonna want Henry Cavill back with a black Superman. That, like, even people who don't like Henry Cavill will probably want Henry Cavill back because it doesn't make sense. Sorry, Andrew, are you still there, or can I can go on?
Hold on a second. I need to do something real quick.
No, it's okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna be finishing the video. It kind of got derailed into something else, but I really enjoyed the conversation with Andrew. It was kind of quite fun to talk about the Snyder Cut and see what people are thinking from that side. But the last thing I was going to say is that I just hope that Ta-Nehisi Coates, comes to his senses really when it comes to who he's casting, because I think they're setting. This is such a stupid setup. It's a slam dunk for him. If he makes a great Superman movie and writes a great one, he'll be the hero to everyone. And he's not going to do that by, by changing the wheel or doing something that everyone is going to, put it this way. It's like casting Ben Affleck as Batman. Now, Ben Affleck turned out good as Batman in the end. But you go in with it was the same as casting Lex Luthor, the Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. You're going to go into the film with bad will. People are going to go. There will be a contingency of people who are not the kind of people I particularly enjoy, who are just going to go in being like, like,
Hey,
I'm not. Hi, man. I'm not coming at this from obviously I'm black. I'm not coming at this from a racist perspective. I'm just finishing something off, Andrew. Just what I'm saying. I'm not coming at this from a racist perspective. Obviously, I'm black, but there are going to be people who come at this and look at it and are just going to be like, oh, you see, this is SJW race bending, and they're going to want to hate on this movie. They're going to want to say that this is a woke movie and not support it and all of this. So there's just going to be a lot of bad will going into this movie. If Ta-Nehisi Coates is a sensible person, and I think they should get John Ridley on this, who did 12 Years a Slave, who's also into comic book writing. But if they want to, because looking at Ta-Nehisi Coates' IMDb, what he's written nothing. He's a writer on Wrong Answer and Between the World and Me, and one of them is just announced. He's done absolutely nothing apart from like a few comic book runs. So what am I trying to say in conclusion to this? Sorry, Andrew. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm just kind of like I'm aware that you're there. So just to like finish off, if Ta-Nehisi wants to be a hero to everyone, just cast a normal Superman. Cast a normal Superman, do a great Superman movie, and then, get like a black character that you're passionate about, and tell Warner Brothers once you've done a successful Superman movie to let you do it like a black character like Vixen or anything like that. What do you think about that, Andrew, as an idea?
I guess that could work. Let's see. This is crazy, especially since we don't even have a legitimate Superman besides Cavill, who I disagree with that last statement.
What was it? Who isn't exactly good as Superman? Yeah, well, so it says you would think that they would make a good icon film from Milestone. Yeah, I think that as well.
Yeah, but in the end, I feel like this whole Superman news, this is coming 3 weeks before the Snyder Cut, his release thing is really suspicious, eyebrow raising.
I'd be interested to find out more of your theories on that. I want to close this particular video right now because it's going into an hour long. But stay on, and then we might be able to talk about like this Snyder Cut thing. So, are you there, Andrew?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. So, all right, guys. See you on the flip side. Love you 3000. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, give me a high five. Smash the like button. Thanks so much. Bye bye.